Hey y'all, it's May 30th, 2015. I would like to start off this video by proudly announcing that my YouTube channel officially, you can check this for yourself, has 500 views. It's pretty awesome to think about something like that kind of a milestone. Thing is, got me to thinking, gosh, 500 views on the internet. People probably listen to me over the internet more than they've listened to me in my actual life when I'm right there in front of them. So I thought, man, maybe, gosh, this is just a success. It just can't be stopped. And so I'm going to go ahead and continue it. I don't know what's so successful about it, but I'm just going to continue this rambling that I've been doing on the internet. With that in mind, I got a story to tell y'all. Something that happened to me yesterday. I was walking around yesterday, as I'm known to do, in the midday time, maybe the early midday time, and I was walking around, and I was happening to go to Alamo Ranch. Alamo Ranch is a place that's right outside the intersection of Calabria and 1604. Now, if you're familiar with this area, you'll know, you'll make note of the fact that lots of times in this area, people are going to ask you for money. There'll be a lot of people asking you for money, many various types of people asking you for money. There will be homeless people, not all the time. Some of the times there'll be homeless people asking you for money. But also there'll be little small organizations like a kids football team with their parents, or kids cheerleading team with their parents, or some whatever little cause for money that for some reason they don't have money. These people organize, like I said, they're small organizations. These people organize and then they realize, hey, we don't have any money. Now that we got an organization, we better go ask people for money. They like to do it at the intersection of Calabria and 1604. Yesterday was no different. I saw a group of ladies from across the intersection. I noticed, guy, they look like they're grouped together and they're organized and they're fixing to ask people for money. So I keep going the direction I'm going. A lady kind of is going perpendicular to me, and we wind up colliding at part of the intersection. She gives me this piece of paper. She asks if I happen to have any money that I was looking to donate to somebody, perhaps a stranger who I've never met, about an organization that I've never heard of. And here's a piece of paper right here that she gave me. I still have it. Proceeding and telling her, no, I don't have any money for that. Sorry about that. But I could tell, like, I don't know what you're saying, but the paper she handed me, it says that she represents the ministry of the House of Restoration of San Antonio Church. It's the long name. So I took kind of an opportunity to ask her then. I said, I'm actually just curious. How does your ministry feel? And I'd like you to take my word for it. If you have ministries out there and churches out there, y'all should have feelings. So, anyways, I asked her, well, how does your ministry feel about Al Sharpton? Just curious. And then she actually, is kind of surreal. She pointed over my shoulder. She said, that guy? And, I kind of like hesitated to look back, thinking, I know that Al Sharpton isn't standing right behind me. I know it, but anyways, I turned back, and indeed, there was a flyer about Al Sharpton right behind me. I didn't even realize this. But I said, yes, that guy. And she said, I don't watch the television. Which I began to laugh in my mind because here's the thing, I didn't mention the television. So your answer already had really nothing to do with my question. And it also implies that anybody of popular, like the people know, public knowledge, you're going to find anything and everything about them on the television, which I'm sorry to say in 2015, that's simply not true. In fact, I don't think it's been true for a very extremely long time. There's things called magazines and books, and also newspapers, and all sorts of other things. You don't need to necessarily watch television to know who I'm talking about. And secondly, or thirdly, um, that's a complete lie, and it's funny because you, first of all, I know that's a lie. You watch television, all right? I could look at you and tell it you do. So if I'm hearing it, you're hearing it. We're the only two people hearing what you're saying. I am not buying this lie, obviously. I'm not even going to pretend like I am. So who are you lying to is the question I would like to pose. If only you and me are hearing it, who are you lying to? Because I'm certainly not being lied to. But anyways, I took it a little bit further. I said, well, uh, basically, since y'all are a ministry, you have a church. Here's a reverend. This should just strike close to home. That's why I brought it up. That's why I took advantage of it. I said, here's a reverend. I don't know who made him a reverend, but he's pretty terrible at his job. And then she started to moan some stuff like, cause she already could see that she's not getting money from him. So she's like, anybody who has something to say against God, I guess, I mean, I don't think that's probably not very good. And I said, yes, it's true. It's not very good. And so, I mean, you could continue to lie, but really, I mean, I wouldn't if I were you. You really couldn't say that you don't know who Al Sharpton is anymore because I went out of my way to tell you. Not only that, thing is, you already did know who Al Sharpton was. Because here's the thing, you were about to fix to ask people for money all over the intersection. All right? You already saw the flyer that was put there. And there's many flyers on that intersection about Al Sharpton. So it's becoming very, very hard to plead ignorance the way people do these days. This is a man who's been well known by the public for decades. For decades. Never heard of him. Never heard of Al Sharpton. All right. Um, I told him, so she mumbled some stuff about that. I said, it's good that you can understand that, yeah, if he's a bad reverend, guess something should be done about him. I let her know if y'all ever, stand against Al Sharpton, or whatever at this intersection, do something, then I'll absolutely give you money. She said, well, thank you, God bless you, whatever, yeah. I said, God bless you, and took off. But see, that's what I'm talking about. Here's the thing: if you have a ministry, if you have a church, certain things that are already known about church, if you're on drugs, or you're addicted, or it's really messing up your life, you're on alcohol. It's it's not a surprise to you that the church would have something to do with trying to help you. Now, you got to admit, there's a lot of churches out there that are not going to help you very good. I understand that, but it's common knowledge that if you have a drug problem or an alcohol problem, you might want to go to church and see if that does something. So therefore, you don't need to be out of Caliber in 64, handing out pieces of paper and asking me for money and saying, "Hey, look, we do this. Come here if you have a drug and alcohol." If you had a drug and alcohol problem, you would already know. You wouldn't have to have people passing out pieces of paper and asking for money that seems to have nothing to do with what you're talking about. But really, what I want to point out in this video is that what you're trying to do and what churches are responsible for doing is helping people and resolving the effects of problems in the community. That's just something that they're mandated to do, and people know this automatically. Another thing that you might want to focus on, in fact, you want to focus on it a little bit more if you're going to take my word for it, is the cause of the problems. See, you can go ahead and resolve the effects of problems all day. It really doesn't make a difference because something's going to keep continuing to cause those problems, and you're going to keep having problems. Know what I just said is over your head, but you know what I'm saying? It's like putting a band-aid on cancer. You might not be able to see the cancer, but like you know, it's still there. There's still something causing the problem that you need to resolve as a church. And each church is going to have different problems that they have priority over, and that's the point of having many different churches is they all should tackle the cause of problems. The, being addicted to drugs is not the cause of the problem. Problem originated way before that. It's called the cause of the problem. Starts at the beginning. One of the beginning, one of the most detrimental causes of problems here in the United States, believe it or not, is Al Sharpton. Why? Why do I say this? Because he's the vice president of the United States. Now, I know a lot of y'all would hear me and say, oh, I didn't know he was the vice president of the United States. That's how crazy ignorant people can be. You should probably leave my channel. He's not really the vice president of the United States, but you know what? He might as well be. On record, this guy has visited the White House 90 times, over 90 times now. Just like to go on record as saying that I don't think that I've been to my grandfather's house 90 times in my whole life. 90 times. All right? And he's insidious and he only incites insidious behavior all across the nation. You might want to know who he is because he calls himself a reverend. If you're a church, that would be the exact opposite of what you want around. Instead, you turn a blind eye and you try to fix all the problems of the effects. Try to hand out a piece of paper and ask me for money. You know what? I'm gonna end the video like this. If you were a little old lady, a bunch of little old ladies, and you went out in the street and you simply talked shit about Al Sharpton, if that's all you did, if you didn't even you weren't even gonna use the money, you're just gonna take the money and buy yourself extravagant dinners and smoke crack. Or I mean, you can do whatever you want with this money. I don't even care what you do with it. If you just go out in the intersection and you talk mess about Al Sharpton, real things need to be done and stuff. You need to focus on the causes of problems. Anyways, it's I don't know, May the 30th, 2015.